all sericite, and then there's a lot of quartz in there.
Hi. So you're our pilot today, yeah?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the aircraft?
Yeah, that's an A-Star helicopter, a B-2, and it's designed and built originally in France, and now Airbus has bought it, so it's now an Airbus.
And what's your prediction of the flight today?
Oh, it's going to be a beautiful day to fly. Calm winds, blue skies, cold temperatures, but we'll take that any day for those conditions.
Craig, do you mind giving a couple words on where we're going?
Right, so we're getting in the chopper from Smithers here and flying down to the Thera drill site. We're going to go and check out a couple of drill rigs, see some good core coming out of the ground, and see how one of the world's new great copper deposits is looking.
All right, great. I'm Patrick Lancaster, just outside Smithers, British Columbia in Western Canada. And we're here with Craig Parry of the Vizsla Copper Corp and many other companies that are making breakthrough discoveries here in the mountains, and we're going to be going to one of the record-breaking drill sites here to show you what's really here happening on the ground. We get as in-depth as possible with everything we do, so let's get to it. Greg, yeah, can you give another comment like we did inside? I think it's better out here, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, hey, Craig Parry from Vizsla Copper here. We're loading up the chopper and about to head down to the Thera drill site where we've made a recent major copper discovery. We've got a couple of rigs turning down there. We're going to go and check out the action, see the core coming out of the ground, and hopefully see some nice copper mineralisation.
We're about to take off. Let's get it. By the way, I hate flying. About 1,500 feet above the ground, going about 200 kilometers per hour. So we made it here to the top of one of the largest copper discoveries purportedly in recent times here in these mountains. And now we're headed up the road. Oops! And now we're headed even farther up the road to the next location where hopefully we're going to see the drill site itself.
Yeah, I mean, just anywhere back here. Frozen pipe. Water been eroding underneath there. It's starting right up to go there. Okay. So, not a big issue. Don't need to go back there anyway, but the ice on that side's really bad. Other than that, yeah. Great. Yeah. We're in the middle of a bit change here, so. Hold the rod out.
Changing the bits, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to continue the hole. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what those are right there, yeah?
Those are our rods. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Like drill bits, basically, yeah?
No, bit goes on the edge. Just keep one. This would be a drill bit. That'd be your diamond bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that goes on the end of those.
That goes on the end of the core barrel on the bottom rod, and then these are basically core barrel extensions of the rods. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That does all the magic. You bet.
So you're like the foreman here, yeah?
No, I'm just a driller.
Okay, gotcha.
My main man helper, Yaz. Right. And,
all right.
Yeah. We're about halfway over the hole. 500 meters.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we're waiting for a part here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I could potentially take it apart and take off the piece since it is winter and run without it, but I heard you guys were coming, so I was helping.
Okay, gotcha. So this is the rod here, yeah?
This is the what, sorry?
The rod?
No, this would be your, those are the rods.
Those are the rods.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. This is your feed cylinders. This is your chuck. This is your head and all of this.
So right now, some of the rods are underneath, yeah?
Half of them are in the ground, yeah.
Okay, and then this drill tip is on the bottom.
Yeah, this is your diamond bit. That's on the very bottom. And the one down the hole has worn down, so you don't have your waterways. Well, got to be changed. Keep on going.
And constantly water's being pumped down from there, yes?
Water's coming from our supply pump on that hose. The one we have a thermometer on. And then that way we can monitor if it's freezing. So, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Winter time. More variables. Yeah. Something.
And so what's the plan now?
What's the plan now?
Yeah.
We're going to do our repair, and then we're going to continue pulling the pipe up the hill.
Okay.
Switch the bit on the bottom, and Joe just want to continue the hole. Right now we're at 510 meters, so they want to go deeper.
510 meters, wow.
That's half of it right there.
So here we are at our Thera porphyry copper discovery. We bought this project 2.5 years ago for a deposit that sits about 3 kilometres up there. There's a large porphyry copper molybdenum system there. We liked it for that. When we hit the ground though, in this area here, we discovered a huge amount of quartz sericite pyrite alteration, QSP alteration, which is typical in porphyry systems. So we knew we were onto something. We then did IP lines, we did soil geochemistry all across the area, and that really pinpointed this zone as potentially a porphyry system. We started drilling midway through last year and immediately announced the discovery of the Thera porphyry copper deposit. We're now on the second drill program. This rig here is the second hole of this program. We saw some core yesterday from the first hole. Looks great, like it looks like what we saw from the last program. So we're expanding this porphyry system. So what we do know is that right under our feet here right now is a large amount of copper, molybdenum and silver. So the program's going fantastically well. We've got another drill rig 2 kilometres over the ridge there testing another target called Camp Lake. The rocks there look very porphyritic. I think we're a very strong chance of making a discovery there. And then later today we're going to go over to Copper Pond. Copper Pond's a beautiful looking target, has all of the classic characteristics of a porphyry copper target and some beautifully copper stained rocks at surface as well. So we know we're in a very, very big copper system here. We're excited with it. We've got this program, we're doing 16 holes this program. We may look to extend it. Of course, you pause your program during the thaw over the spring, and then we'll be back out here drilling again in the summer this year. So well, things are looking very, very good. The team's doing a great job. We've got 2 rigs turning and working on what is, a very substantial discovery that we've got here at Thera.
And how many, you say a large deposit, how many kilograms or pounds do you think could be under us right now?
Look, it's hard to say, and it's very arm wavy. Of course, you've got to get all of that coring, cut it up, do the assays, work out the grades and ton of the area. So it's hard to say, but at this point in time, we've drilled out an 800 metre zone by 400 metres. We're expanding that with this drill program. We've only, in the last program, we drilled down to 500 metres, and the last hole went to 600 metres. I think this hole's going a little bit deeper as well, just to test the depth extent, but you can put some numbers around that. What we do know is that there's a porphyry copper system just down the road that's at about 1 billion tonnes at about 0.3% copper. You've got some of the world's biggest porphyry systems just up the road from us. So this could be potentially a very, very big system. I think, definitely has potential. Very arm wavy here, forward-looking statement, but definitely has potential for over 1 billion tonnes of good grade porphyry material. So there's a big belt of copper through here.
So if that's 1 billion tons at 3%, that's what?
0.4, 0.3, 0.4%.
So that would be, what, 4 million tons?
That would be right, yeah. So that would give you 4 million tonnes of copper. You can multiply that by $12,000 or $13,000 a tonne. to give you a bit of an indication of how much metal can be in the ground of this system. Now, I'm not saying that we have that here yet. We're hopeful and it's looking good, but there are other big systems here that have, you know, $50-100 billion worth of copper in the ground. So we're hopeful for one of those.
Billion.
Yep.
So potentially, if this is comparable to the others, this could have $50 to $100 billion of coal or copper sitting underneath it.
We have a huge amount of drilling to confirm that, to come to confirm that or test that. But there's every chance. You know, we are in elephant country here in terms of porphyry systems. They're big, large, large, and more than that, there are often other porphyries. Porphyry systems occur in clusters, and here I think that's what we're starting to see emerge. We've got this discovery at Thera, we've got the Camp Lake, and then the Copper Pond targets. If they all result in porphyry discoveries, then this could be a world-class, enormous porphyry copper system.
And for a company the size of Vizsla Copper Corp, that would be really huge.
Oh, mammoth! Yeah, it's a game changer for us. Yeah.
I mean, and you guys are publicly traded, right? At $1?
About $1.50 a share on the Ventures Toronto Stock Exchange.
And companies that have bigger, $50 to $100 million reserves and discoveries, they're up above 5, 10, or even more.
Well, the company sort of best known in these areas for porphyry developments is a couple. There's TSX-V. The biggest is Teck. Teck have got, some of the mines here, they're Highland Valley mine, for example, and then Gibraltar. These are very big mines that produce 200,000 tonnes of copper per annum. Once built, these things are worth many billions of dollars.
And they, of course, have quite a return for their shareholders.
They do, particularly when copper prices are high like they are and moving higher.
Hey, I'm Corey. I work for Apex Diamond Drilling. I'm the fifth man.
You're a
fifth man?
Fifth man.
Yeah.
That's like a position in drilling?
It is. So
Okay.
we have a driller, we have a helper on the drill. I bounce between sites. Just trying to make, if there's something that they can't get to, I can get to it.
So there's four workers on the drill, and you're like the helper that goes back and forth.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And how long have you been a driller?
I've been doing this for the past 9 years. I'm second generation.
So your father was a driller,
Yes.
yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So family business.
Family. Yeah. It's all about family.
Are you local? Or?
No, I live actually in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty cold up here.
Sure is, but you get used to it really quick. And you know what? When you're hustling around, and you stay warm.
All right, nice. So you guys, the drillers, are like contractors that go with different discovery companies, yeah?
We can, depending, for work. If there's work shortage or whatnot, there has been guys where they do bounce around. Yeah,
okay,
but we like to keep our guys, as company guys as well. So they try to keep us busy, and that's the way to be.
Nice.
We bought this project 2.5 years ago. We paid $2.7 million 10 years ago. That was worth about $100 million. So we figured it wasn't too bad value paying $2.7 million for a project that already had a significant resource. Utah Copper found the deposit called Poplar on the property back in the mid-70s, and explored it heavily, drilled out a large resource. The resource base is nearly 300 million tonnes at about 0.4% copper equivalent. There's a little bit of molybdenum in there, there's some silver in there. So we know we're in a porphyry terrain, and we're surrounded by some of the world's major porphyries. There's Gibraltar, Highland Valley to the south of us. You've got Mount Polly not too far away from here. Artemis, which is now I think a $15 billion company, has a major gold deposit called Blackwater. which one of my team members discovered many years ago, not too far over there. So we're in a good geological terrain, and that's what's important when it comes to doing good geology. You need to go where the deposits are, where that endowment is, where the rocks are right. And so we know we're in a porphyry copper terrain. There's also epithermal gold deposits, so you're a chance of finding a high-grade epithermal deposit around these things as well. But what we're looking for here are very large copper deposits that can really move the needle for the planet in terms of copper production. And it looks like we might be onto one of those. We've driven up this valley. We're about 5 kilometres away from both of those rigs that we've seen this morning. The first rig's testing our Camp Lake target, about 3 kilometres that direction. The Thera discovery that we've made, confirmed big porphyry copper deposit, is 5 kilometres that way. But I've got my suspicions, and I think our other geologists do too, is that this valley is full of porphyry apophyses, as we call them, smaller intrusions that focus that mineralisation. And where we're sitting right now is, as far as we've discovered, the southwesternmost extent of the mineralisation. This is a little area called Copper Pond. There's evidence of, ancient workings of digging up copper mineralisation. And we'll get out and have a look around here. But there's some copper-stained rocks. You'll see highly altered rocks that are typically associated with porphyry copper deposits. So when we first hit the ground here on this project back in May last year, this got us very excited because it confirmed there's porphyritic rocks, there's all of the alteration you see, there's copper in those rocks, and you see the copper staining on rocks in this area, and there's great extent to it. We're now at the westernmost margin of this alteration zone and big magnetic anomaly. That anomaly goes for another 7-8 miles that direction. There could be, and we've now discovered 2 deposits. Looks like we could be onto another discovery. So we know this is a super fertile area, and there could be many more of these deposits studded along that anomalism, along that 10-kilometre strike in the direction we're looking here. So it's a very exciting project in that sense, and I think what this drill program's telling us is that this is a very, very large system. This could be, one of the more significant porphyry systems that have been discovered in British Columbia in recent years, and something that's going to attract investment from not only ourselves and fund managers and guys who get behind and invest in our sector, but it's also potentially going to be very attractive to much larger companies that want to build very, very large copper mines. So I'm thrilled with what we've seen this morning. We've got plenty more to see. We'll get out and kick some rocks here and see if we can't find some porphyritic looking and altered rocks and some copper mineralisation on those rocks.
We'll try and find a better outcrop than this. It's a bit hard with all of this snow, but you can see it's strongly limonitic. There might be some copper there. Strongly limonitic. It's full of iron alteration. There's very intense quartz, sericite, pyrite alteration in this. And if you look closely here, you'll start to see. You can see porphyritic rocks there. You can see a little bit of copper staining down here. A bit of malachite, and that's everywhere in this little zone. And so this is an outstanding target. This is my favourite target. Thera's been a tremendous discovery. But the fact that we know that we've got really intense porphyry alteration with copper staining here in a known porphyry district really ramps up the priority of this target. It's an outstanding target. We know it's a porphyry system. We've got to get in here and drill it. We'll be drilling here in a couple of weeks. I think we've got 4 or 5 holes planned for this area. And if we hit, if it is what we think it is, we'll continue that program and continue to drill out the deposit. But suffice to say, I think this is one of the better porphyry copper targets that I've ever seen. It's a ripper. Yeah, so mineral exploration, it's an interesting game.
firstly, you've got to work out what you're exploring for. And there's a few things that I use that I learned at Rio Tinto to rank and prioritise targets and figure out where you're going. One of them is size of the prize, the other is cost of the test, and then chance of success. I'll explain that a little bit. So when you go exploring for anything, and you can use this in all elements of your life, particularly in business for assessing opportunities, but size of the price, is this going to be big enough that it's going to make a difference to my shareholders and give them a really good rate of return? Porphyry copper systems, they're the biggest copper suppliers, producer deposits on the planet. So we know, that's what you want to be looking for if you're looking for copper deposits of great scale. So this ticks the box on that front. Cost of the test. Exploration is an incredibly expensive game. These holes we're drilling here at about $150,000 per hole. We're probably over the time of the project to prove up the resource that we want to see. It's going to be 100 to 200 holes. So you can do the math on that. $50 to $100 million worth of drilling to prove up one of these sorts of projects. And then you've got to do all the studies. Here, the cost of the test is outstanding. We've got great road access. We're an hour away from the town of Houston and the main north-south highway in British Columbia. The main road that runs from Houston and that highway and the train line goes all the way down this valley here to Imperial's Huckleberry Mine. So we've got a major road that's only 5 kilometres away from where we're at now. And of course we've got these beautiful logging trails that you see here. This area has been heavily logged, burnt out by fire 5 years ago. And that gives us great exposure. You can see all of this outcrop very well. So it makes our geologist's job so much better to go on and look at that. And then drilling costs here in British Columbia are very favourable. It's costing us about $320 per metre all into test. So it ticks that box. This is, low cost, best bang for your buck exploration as you can possibly get today for these sorts of systems. So that's great. And then we've got that in spades here. And then finally, the last thing is chance of success. That's about the endowment, mineral endowment of an area. If you're going to look for uranium deposits, high-grade uranium deposits, you do it in Saskatchewan's Athabasca Basin, because that's where the biggest and the best and the greatest chance of success is. If you're going to look for porphyry copper deposits, there are a lot of places you can go in the world. And of course, the belt we sit on now extends all the way from northern Alaska all the way down to Punta Arenas in South America and off the coast there of Antarctica. It's the most prolific porphyry belt on the planet. And here in British Columbia, we're blessed with a huge number of those porphyries. Now, some of them are a little bit lower grade than what you see in Chile, but today, at 0.4% copper equivalent, that's a very good grade. The global mined head grade of copper around the world today is about 0.5% copper. So you're up at those sorts of levels. And chance of success, the endowment of the area. We know we're in a porphyry district. We're surrounded by some of Canada's biggest porphyry systems. You've got Imperial Metals, Huckleberry Mine just down the road here. Surge Copper have their giant Berget deposit just here. Surge Copper, Artemis Gold, their Blackwater deposits only a few kilometres away in that direction. You've got some major mines and porphyry copper mines. Mount Polly, Imperial's Mount Polly down the road. So we're in a district that's known for porphyry mineralisation. There's a lot of it here. And we've proven that up. We knew that this district was fantastic when we bought it for $2.7 million 2 years ago, because it already had a big proven resource that was discovered by Utah Copper back in the 70s, and that was drilled out. But not much other exploration work had been done to that time. So you can imagine the excitement when we got down here, when we bought the project, to get in this area where you've got outcropping porphyry-style rocks, outcropping porphyry mineralisation that suggests you're at the top of a porphyry system, and then all of this copper mineralisation in these rocks outcropping around here suggested to us that this is going to be a great place to explore, and certainly that's playing out. We've made that Thera discovery. We're now testing our Camp Lake target. We've seen some rocks on that yesterday. We don't have any assays, but gee, that looks like a porphyry system to me, so I'm excited about this. And then I can't wait in the next few weeks to get a drill rig in this area and start testing this copper pond target. It's the most, certainly at ground level, we've seen a large amount of copper staining on these rocks around here. So we think it's a fertile porphyry copper system. So the whole exploration process is there. You've seen it play out, and we're now getting to the pointy end where we've done all of the initial boots on ground exploration work, all of that sampling, all of the mapping, geophysics, soil sampling, and now we're drill testing and we're hitting great success. You see that in those cores that we've been seeing over the last couple of days. We're onto what I think could be a very, very big porphyry system. This alteration goes for another 8 kilometres that direction. There's a huge number of targets in there as well. I think this could be a very, very large porphyry system. Huge amount of work to do to get there and to know that, and a lot of drilling. We're at the earliest stages of that, but gee, I'm excited by what I see. I think that this could well be a 1 billion tonne plus district that we have here that we're discovering at the moment.
So I've been talking about this quartz sericite pyrite alteration. So that, I took that rock from an outcrop just over there, but it's a porphyritic texture. So, that's a fairly good indication that there's going to be a porphyry system around. But the really exciting thing about this, you can see that iron staining, iron oxides there. That's all oxides after pyrite, after sulfide. And then you've got this shiny material there, that's all sericite, and then there's a lot of quartz in there. So that's, classic porphyry alteration at a higher level and distal to the centre of the porphyry system. And by mapping this alteration, you can start to vector in onto where the centre of the porphyry system might be. So this was a fantastic thing for us to find. We're quite astonished with what we saw when we first came out here, because all of these hills along here for about 8 kilometres are covered in this QSP alteration. What that tells you is it's a very, very big, long-lived, juicy system, a lot of fluid going through a big area. So it has to have scale. And certainly what we've seen from our drilling at Fira so far suggests that that's playing out. And the fact that we're starting to find other porphyry stockworks throughout this entire belt over that 8 kilometre zone bodes very well for the project, that there's potentially a giant porphyry system in this region. So now it's doing what we're doing. 2 rigs turning now, and we'll continue to drill out the deposit. But that was just fantastic for us to find this very intensely quartz sericite pyrite altered porphyry mineralisation sticking out of the ground. Not too often that you find a mineral deposit outcropping out of the ground, so this is a ripper.
So that piece right there, is that considered like 0.0?
This will have a background. This will be like 0.01 or 0.02 copper. Yeah, this will be very low grade. It's way outside the centre of the potassic core of the porphyry system that carries the grade.
So farther down.
This will have copper in it. This will have, but a very small amount. At a guess, it might be, below 0.1% copper. So there'll be some in there. But it's the important thing is that alteration and that style of that porphyritic rock suggests clearly that you're in a porphyry system, and drilling is now proving that.
Thread the needle. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh, yeah. Oh my god. Holy fucking shit. Oh yeah. Wow. All right, guys, it's been a really great experience here today and yesterday, seeing this next generation discovery of this huge, potentially game-changing copper discovery here. And I was lucky enough to be here with my friends Cyrus and Gary. I want them to introduce themselves to you. Hopefully we'll be seeing them on our second channel more often. And Cyrus, can you tell us about yourself and your channel?
Absolutely. Well, everyone, Cyrus Jansen here, a geopolitical YouTuber. We're covering events around the world. And the reason that we study geopolitics is because it affects the market, it affects your money, and there's tremendous amount of opportunities. And it's been such a pleasure to travel with these two gentlemen. We're here in British Columbia, one of the best spots of the world to be doing this mining, and obviously spending time with Craig Parry, one of the best CEOs, and just a fantastic opportunity to learn and kind of take you guys behind the scenes. We're the first 3 YouTubers, I think, in history to come in and kind of give you guys the behind the scenes inside information that you guys want and that you can learn and educate yourselves on the opportunities out there in the market of the world.
Gary, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your...
My name is Gary Franchi. I'm the Chief White House Correspondent for the Next News Network, and I'm on the ground here because just a couple of weeks ago, President Trump launched calling it Project Vault, which is the first of its kind ever critical minerals resource that can be a storehouse for critical minerals when they're in depletion. And with respect to how current trade negotiations with China or Russia have gone, and those nations decide that they're going to stop sending critical minerals that our Defense Department needs, our Department of War needs, that creates a massive national security issue. So President Trump, he creates Project Vault. He's signing executive orders to speed up the permitting process, to open up lands for mining that were traditionally never, just like for 50 years, administration after administration, you couldn't touch this stuff. There was so much red tape that they had to go through. So I'm here on the ground. I'm investigating one of the, I like to call this because we're in Canada now. This is Vizsla Copper's property that they're working, and they found, the minerals that they found here, the copper veins, absolutely beautiful to see the core samples coming out of the ground. But see, that's the beginning. That's the starting phase. And I like to call where I'm at now, like the baby brother to the big project, which is in Alaska, which is, of course, sovereign soil for the United States, with the Alaska governor and their endorsement of the project. All these things, they all tie back together to the national defense of the United States and, of course, the national defense of our Western Hemisphere, which, of course, the new MAGA doctrine is, not holding back. So we need to have the resources to defend our nation. We need to have the resources so that we can have the planes and the satellites, but not just that, but for common household things we have in our pockets, in our homes. So what we're seeing here is the beginning stages of a massive exploratory project that is only going to yield greater benefits for the United States of America. So having the opportunity to stand on its ground and to witness the beginning of it, it's nothing short of historic. And I'm honored to be here to witness it all.
Great. All right. So again, great to be here. Great to be here with Cyrus and Gary. Make sure you go check out their YouTube channels. The links are in the description. And a huge thanks to Craig Parry and Vizsla Copper for showing us this information. We all took little different angles at showing you this information, but it's information that we see with our own eyes. And as always, I get in depth as possible. So again, a big thanks to Craig and Vizsla Copper. Go down to their link in the description. Check out their next presentation. And we've got a lot more to come. Hopefully tonight, I'm going to be going back up to the drilling sites for the night work, showing you what the work's really like at night. And we're going to have that on our second channel, PL News Today Global. So make sure you go down in the description and subscribe to that as well.